Shalom, this is the brother Tazaba coming back to you with another lesson. Before I start off, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect out there that's spreading this word, this sincerity, and the truth all over the four corners of the earth. Now, this is going to be a quick hit going into the law and the keeping of the law and what it means to us, because that's what it means scripturally. Okay, yes, we are Hebrew Israelites, and yes, we practice the laws to the best of our ability, but we always tell you the laws ain't gonna save you. We always tell you righteousness does not come by the law, but the scriptures also tell us that even though righteousness doesn't come by the law, he that believes, he that has faith will try to live in them. Because these laws that we have received are just laws. They're just laws, man. There is no reason to not keep them. You understand? There's no reason to not keep them. You're doing good in the sight of the Most High, regardless. Okay? So, I wanted to read the book of Galatians chapter 5. And I put down the NLT version, because we've been going over these things for so many times and so many years, and still there's a certain lack of understanding when it comes down to the breakdown thereof. Okay, now the NLT recently has been used and brought out in multiple occasions. Okay, and the Spirit has moved us to use it a bit more. Okay, and even though there are certain mistakes in the NLT, it does pass on a little bit of a more clear message when reading it. Okay, King James Version is also stated to be the most misinterpreted Bible in the world because it uses Old English. You understand? So this is Galatians 5:1. So Yahushai has truly set us free. Now make sure that you stay free and don't get tied up again in slavery to the law. And slavery to the law doesn't mean not keeping the law at all. Okay? Don't get tied up in slavery to the law means this is in your mind the only hope that you have, because it's not. We have hope in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and we keep the law to the best of our ability to prove unto the Most High that we truly believe. Okay? That we truly acknowledge His word. You see? I always use this example. Your mother doesn't have to tell you she loves you. She shows it by her works. Okay? That's why the book of James also goes into faith without works is dead. You have to show it. You have to prove it. Okay? Now, that goes with trusting in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Okay? Walking in His ways, of course. But also, if you cannot keep certain simple laws, for example, not lining up, okay, not eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster anymore, then there's a problem right there. You see? Then there's a problem right there. So it says, verse 2, listen, I, Paul, tell you this, if you are counting on circumcision to make you right with the Most High, then Yahushai will be of no effect to you. It's like no benefit to you. So, to make you right with the Most High, let's go into that word, to make you right. Okay, because obviously, it has been translated. Let me see. Bear with me for a moment. Funny enough, it doesn't even say the word to make you right. when I go into the interlinear, it doesn't say to make you right. So therefore, let me go back to the King James Version real quick. This is Galatians 5:2. Behold, I, Paul, say unto you that if he be circumcised, Yahushua shall profit you nothing. You see, the word to make you right doesn't appear in the Hebrew, in the Greek, Slakia. It doesn't appear in the Greek, and it doesn't appear in the King James Version, but it does appear in the NLT. So straight up, the NLT adds words onto the scripture, and you could say to put out more understanding. But if it doesn't say to make you right, then it doesn't say to make you right. But at the end of the day, it does go into that, because the Galatians, they was leaning on the law for righteousness, and Paul had to constantly address the Galatians that law does not come by the keeping of the law. Righteousness doesn't come by the keeping of the law. So indeed, I would say nothing wrong with it, but it is something wrong with it, because the scriptures doesn't say it, doesn't use these words. Okay. So it says, if you are counting on circumcision to make you right with the Most High, then Yahushua will be of no benefit to you. You understand? Because here it is, Yahushua had made us free from the law, okay, from serving the law, the bondage of the law, okay, and now you want to get tied up into the keeping of the law, and that tied up means you are restrained. If you don't do it, there are consequences, which that's not the case. Okay? The scriptures speak about Yahushua making Satan making a fool out of Satan, because he cannot do anything anymore as concerning the law. Punishment came by Satan when we broke the law. You see, but Satan and these demons cannot do anything anymore, because we trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So the law doesn't have power over us anymore. So when it says don't get tied up in it again, it means that you should not force things and mess you up, like don't be righteous over much. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself, right? The scripture says you shouldn't get all messed up in the head while you have been made free from the law. Now, having been made free from the law does not mean to, X out the law completely. Even when you go into the book of Acts, let me go there real quick. Acts chapter 21, verse 25. As for the Gentile believers, which are Israelite foreigners, okay, Israelites that grew up in a Gentile state of mind, took upon themselves the Gentile customs, okay, they are referred to as Gentiles, Gentile believers. They should do what we already told them in the letter. They should abstain from eating food offered to idols, which is in the law, from consuming blood, which is in the law. You're not allowed to eat blood, or the meat of strangled animals, and from sexual immorality. These are all laws, okay? These are all laws. So that the point was never that you just have to say bye to the laws and, you can go ahead and murder people and bear false witness. No, of course not. The law is still in effect, but don't get tied up in the law. There are certain things in the law, okay, minimalistic things, and also certain things that you cannot keep. Think about it, man. Back in those days, during the times of Paul, during the times of Yahushua, there was a lot of moles out there, man. There was a lot of Fruity Loops out there. Now, if you would put them to death, guess what? You would be in trouble with the Roman Empire, man. You would be in a lot of trouble. You know what I'm saying? So it's not expedient. And the Apostle Paul also spoke about that. Everything is lawful, but not everything is expedient. So that's also how we have to look at the law. Like, okay, if you tied up into keeping the law, you will be forced to, put that individual to death. Those things we cannot do in these modern times. But this scripture also shows you, okay, that it had nothing to do with the laws done away with. It had everything to do with the spirit wherein you have to come. Don't have a yoke around your neck with the law. Just have faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and try to keep the law to the best of your ability. Okay, that's your reasonable service. Okay, that's how I say that? That's the purpose of life, to keep the commandments and fear the Most High. Ain't nothing wrong with keeping the commandments, man. So that's something that we never said, we never mentioned. Then it says, verse 3, I'll say it again. If you are trying to find favor with the Most High being circumcised, you must obey every regulation in the whole law of Moses. So if you want to find favor, okay, find favor, then keep the whole law. Keep every inch of the law if you're trying to find favor. But other than that, it's all about, establishing yourself as a man of the Lord. When you go out in the highways and byways to teach, you ain't trying to find favor. You just straight up want to appear before the Most High, as a true Hebrew. Okay, so we circumcise ourselves, we preach the word. Okay, we show off the right example. The scripture says, "Be thou an example unto those." Okay, but the forcing of the circumcision upon the newly believers, that's something we should not do. Verse 4, for if you are trying to make yourselves right with the Most High by keeping the law, you have been cut off from Yahushai. You have fallen away from God's grace. So if you're trying to make yourselves right with the Most High by keeping the law, you have been cut off from Yahushai. Because the law is not going to save you. Okay, what does Galatians say? What does Ephesians say? Ephesians 2:8. For the Most High saved you by His grace when you believed, and you can't take credit for this. It is a gift from the Most High. You see? Ain't no way you can get credit for this. There's no one that has been keeping the law this good that he now has to be saved because of that. There's no one. There's literally no one that has done that or that moves that way. Okay, it's the gift of the Most High, and you always got to acknowledge that. Verse 9, salvation is not a reward for the good things we have done, so none of us can boast about it. So righteousness does not come by the law. Righteousness comes by faith and is the grace of the Most High. All right. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, Bashem Kakadash, Shalom to the elect.